what it is like to model as a black person, because we do have different lived experiences. It can affect things like our opportunities, the way that we are also portrayed by the media, because as models, we are essentially one of the ways in which brands use our aesthetic to be able to portray the black image. So I want to talk a bit more about what it is like to model as a black person, how it affects the way that we move into these spaces, and also what can be done or should be done in order to enhance the experiences that black models have. Let's talk about hair, because I know this is one of the biggest frustrations for black models. So, okay. I think one of the biggest frustrations about hair is that people don't know how to style it. But even before that, I'm gonna say that there isn't a lot of knowledge about how diverse black hair actually is. So even before you even get the modeling job, you have casting agents, and they don't really know how diverse someone's hair can be. For example, for me, my hair can be in an afro, or it can be in braids like this. However, how I showcase myself in my portfolio, in my Polaroids, will in some way, shape or form determine whether the casting agent would want me or not. So it would be a lot better if casting agents can be like, okay, we like her face, however we want her to have an afro, or we want her hair to be tied back. We want to be able to see how that looks, because hair does affect the way that a person looks. Let's say you've got the modeling job and you meet the hairstylist. Unfortunately, she's not very well versed in black hair. And this is where the frustration happens. So the danger of not knowing how to do black hair, understanding the diversity of hair types, is that you can literally end up with heat damage or worse. And that's happened to me, whereby I sat down with a hairstylist and she had no idea what to do with my hair, and I looked like the craziest person in the whole show. So I think what's really frustrating is also the way look is then portrayed. And because I'm technically representing a black person in that moment and my hair is looking all crazy, it's not a very good portrayal of black models. And I think it's really important to know how to style black hair. I don't think, and I would not consider you a hairstylist if you do not know how to deal with type 3, type 4 hair, because our hair has so much history. When you're using black models, I definitely think that understanding our hair, understanding that aspect of who it is that we are, we feel dignified when people are doing our hair, instead of making it seem like it's some scary ordeal. It really does not have to be. The same with makeup as well. Like, I remember looking like a ghost in some of my earlier shoots, and that's really frustrating, because again, you want to look your best as a model, and it's unfortunate that the team doesn't really know what to kind of do with you. I'm going to talk about tokenism in the modeling industry, which is where there can only just be one black model that can make it in the season. Almost creates this competitiveness within our community, which is not really necessary, but it's also understandable. Trying to get your name out there can be a really frustrating thing as a black model, because they'll just kind of look and be like, oh, we already have one of those, so, sorry, you don't fit in the spot. And yet you could genuinely be the right model at the right time. Having said that, and I know I've said a lot of negative things about what it's like to be a black model in the industry, I have the opportunity to work with other black creatives. And when I tell you, the energy is unrivaled. Like, I love working with black hairstylists, makeup artists, photographers. Like, the aesthetic, that the end result of it is just amazing. They've always produced something that has been magical to me. This is definitely not to say that I've not enjoyed working with people from different backgrounds. I'm just wanting to emphasize that when working with a black model, is that we want to feel like we are in safe hands. So when we walk into a room to be casted, we want to feel like they already know who it is that we are. We want them to know that there's a different way that we can also portray ourselves that's outside of the Polaroids or the small portfolio that we have. We want to feel like when we walk into a job that the makeup artist already has the shade of foundation that we have, and that we're not having to bring our own foundation. We want to feel like when we sat down that the makeup, not the makeup artist, the hair artist knows what to do with our hair, and that we're not coming back home with heat damage. Thanks for watching. I hope that you got a better insight about what it is like to be a black model. Just to say that this is mostly from my own experiences, perspectives, stories as well that I've seen and heard. So not everybody has this experience. I'm not going to say that everybody has got a negative experience of being a black model. And for me, I can't say it has always been a negative experience. As I mentioned before, I have had amazing experiences with different photographers from various backgrounds and different teams as well. But the negative ones definitely stick with you, and it can be traumatic, especially if you're just starting out. But I can say that the more people that I've gotten to know, the more qualified I've seen some people are, the better my experiences have been, which is why I keep emphasizing that education and embracing the black aesthetic and learning about the black aesthetic is such a pinnacle thing for enhancing the experience of black models.